welcome to The Open Road. I'm your host, Megan, also known as Rootless Adventure Company. I am a full-time outdoor adventurer and creative entrepreneur on a mission to make every moment of this beautiful life count. As someone who has built a life around travel after leaving my hometown for the very first time at 18, I've learned that we can truly do anything we set our minds to in this lifetime. I help people just like you and I live a fulfilling life that prioritizes freedom, happiness, and our adventurous bucket lists. In today's episode, I'm going to be interviewing Anna Leigh Wilson, the bucket list vagabond. Anna Leigh is a creative entrepreneur with a passion for ticking off her bucket list. She is a travel and tourism content creator, co-owner of Bucketlist Retreats. She was a contestant on season 35 of The Amazing Race and is just a perfect example of someone who chases all of their dreams in this life. When she is not traveling the world checking off her bucket list, you will find her enjoying life at home in Texas with her husband and their 2 dogs. Join us as we discuss her journey from working as a speech pathologist 9 to 5 to living her bucket list life full time and her advice for those who aspire to do the same. Welcome, Anna Leigh, to the Open Road podcast.
Thanks so much for having me. This is so much fun. I love being able to talk and share and learn and all the things.
Yeah, you can be in the interviewee seat instead of the interviewer
It's
for
fun.
once.
It's fun getting to talk about myself for a little bit.
So you grew up in the Dallas, Texas area. What was it like growing up in Dallas?
Yeah, Dallas, I used to hate it. And because I thought there was nothing to do, because I would travel to these exotic, crazy places, and then I would be like, okay, I'm going home to boring Texas. But the more I've traveled, the more I've realized that every place has its own little, culture around it. And for Texas, that's barbecue and horses and, everything that makes up Texas. And so as I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate it a little bit more. And going back to your question, growing up, my family was very industrial age of thinking, which means, you go to school, get a house, get a job, get married. And I've kind of always rebelled against that. So living the life that I'm living now is very not traditional and not very seen, or it's not normal around here. So, growing up, I had a great childhood, great high school. We traveled as much as we could. Doing something that was outside of a 9 to 5 was definitely not in the options back then.
I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah, and it's scary because people back then, it used to be easy to start at the bottom and work your way up, but especially as a speech therapist where I started working, you cap out. When you're working for somebody else, there is a cap, and no matter how long you've worked or how well you do, you can't make anything above that. And that's when I realized, I know I'm meant for more. I just don't know how to do it. And once I finally figured that out and my family has seen the results from it, now they finally understand, what I had been chasing all along. But
Yeah.
It's definitely taken a long time, and it's taken a lot of, grit and ability to just not care what other people think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's taken a while, but we're here.
Yes. When did you start traveling, and when did you decide that you wanted to make that more of a priority in your job?
Yeah. Well, my mom worked for American Airlines, so I had been traveling my whole life. We would always go on family trips, but that's exactly what they were, was just family vacations. My first solo flight was actually when I was 7. I went to Tennessee to see my grandparents. So I've been flying forever. Growing up, I've loved traveling, and I'll never forget, for my senior vacation, my parents took me to Big Island, Hawaii.
Ooh.
And that's when I fell in love with Hawaii. I told my parents right after my senior year, I was like, I'm going back there. I'm going to live there for the summer. And they said, okay, if you could find a way to do that, then go for it. And so that was my first time actually being away from home for an extended period of time. And I lived on Big Island for 3 months with the host family. And my first job was a stand-up paddleboard instructor at Rootless Adventures, right there in Kona. And that I made my very first YouTube video there. Like,
Yeah.
it was a whole going back and looking at it, it was a horrible video, but, like, I've always known that I was supposed to be creating and, like, traveling. I just never knew how to monetize it. So
Yeah, the passion was always there.
Mhm.
So, what made you decide to end up being a speech pathologist?
Yeah. Well, back then, the answer was to go to school and get a job, and I actually went to undergrad to play volleyball, and I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I started out as a physical therapy major, and then I went to Big Island that summer after my freshman year, and, I started getting into Capernaum, which is youth ministry for special needs,
Mm.
and that's where I met one of my best friends to this day. His name's Coop, and he has cerebral palsy. And it is so cool because, I fed him that whole week, and we just created this bond that today we still talk every single day.
Mm.
And I wanted to learn what caused his cerebral palsy, whether it was spastic or flaccid. And so I went back to school and took one speech therapy class and switched my major from physical therapy to speech therapy. And it was it was awesome because I got to tell him exactly, what caused his cerebral palsy and what it is, and we just related on a different level. And I I switched my major after that. But what's crazy is I had no intention of going to grad school. I was actually going to do the world race, which is 11 countries in 11 months. I'd paid for half of it. And the night that applications were due at Baylor, my mom said, just apply, you never know. And so I did. I applied, and that night the dean of Baylor master's program called and not only offered me a scholarship, but offered me a position as the GA for him. And so I was like, okay, this is a sign. I obviously need to go to grad school.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
a
that's
good
why I
deal.
went. But if I remember, that was being at Baylor for that year. I was the most depressed I've ever been. I cried every single night. I had roommates that we just did not relate to each other. They were all in sororities, and I played volleyball, and uh, we couldn't connect, and I couldn't find a way to connect with them. And I always knew, like, I was fighting. I was like, I'm not supposed to be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I just
I
went through
felt
the
that
motions.
way.
Yeah, I just went through the motions and got my master's degree and did what everybody else, wanted me to do. But I knew I wasn't supposed to do it.
When did you finally decide that you were going to pursue your own dreams and
Yeah.
become a content creator?
Yeah. So I went to Baylor, and one of the biggest reasons that I ended up going for grad school was because in fine print it said that you could do your internship anywhere in
Oh,
the
yeah.
US. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm moving back to Hawaii. Like,
It
that was
didn't say
my, like,
continental
yes,
US.
that was exactly like my thought. And when I told them, they were like, no, we really meant like in Texas. And I said, no.
You said anywhere.
But anywhere. So they said, as long as you can get a contract, then we don't mind. And so I kid you not, I called 100 hospitals begging for somebody to supervise me. And on Christmas morning, I remember somebody from Waikiki at the rehabilitation hospital in the Pacific called back, and they said, we'll take you. And so
Okay.
that's when
Waikiki.
I signed the papers immediately. And then I called my mom, and I was like, Mom, I'm moving to Hawaii. She said, no, you're not. I said, yeah, the papers are already signed. I'm moving. And that, like, oh my gosh. I think moving there and being in Hawaii, I think I was there for like 10 months.
Oh,
And
wow.
I mean, the opportunities that opened, that's when I started getting in the mindset of like, the more you say yes, the more doors open. I
Yeah.
mean, like, I moved there because I was doing my internship, which meant I still had to pay for grad school. And so I moved there, and I thought I was just going to work at a smoothie shop. And the first week that I was there, I went down to the beach, and this guy who were talking about hiking the Stairway to Heaven. And then the next day he called me, we exchanged numbers, and he called me and he said, I'm actually a producer for Hawaii 5-0. Do you want to be on background? And I was like, yeah. And so that's actually what funded my Airbnb that allowed me to stay and essentially still, work. Same beach, I met a guy who needed a place to store his car. And so, just so happens, he gave me his car for the year. I mean,
Absolutely.
the things that
You just
just
hit it.
happened, it made me realize,
Yeah.
like, holy crap, if you just say yes, anything can happen.
Yeah. If you put out into the universe, it always comes back to you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just a big believer in like starting before you're ready, even if you don't think you're ready. If you just start and you just like kind of go through the motions, you'll figure things out along the way. Everybody does, and we all have our own different ways of getting there. But yeah, I'm so thankful for the route that I took, and I'm glad looking back that I have a fallback, even though I don't really believe in falling back on it.
Yeah.
Like, I believe in falling forward. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, the falling forward concept. If you seek out everything that you're dreaming about, then people are going to think of you first when
Yep.
they have those opportunities available. What was your first year working for yourself like, the major ups and downs that you would say in the first year?
I would definitely, and I call all of that, I call it the messy middle. And there's a book
Mm-hmm.
that you can read, it's called The Messy Middle, and it talks about the journey of entrepreneurship and how most people only see the beginning or the end. They rarely ever see the messy middle. And I'm still in the messy middle of it. I mean, I haven't figured it out. I haven't like cracked the code. And I think that's because I'm such a dabbler that I don't think I'll ever be satisfied with one thing. And I love that about myself. You know, I always
Yeah,
want to try new things, but I don't think I'll ever necessarily get there. I think I still am in the figuring it out as I go phase because things change so often. So
definitely.
yeah, I think I'm still in the messy middle of it.
I mean, I think that's good because that means that you're always reaching for something more. I don't think at 29 you've accomplished all of your hopes and dreams in life.
Yeah.
Even though
And
you have accomplished a lot of really cool things, there's still more that you
there's
could.
so much more. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I'll ever success to me is not like monetary. It's not a money thing. It's
Yeah.
it's checking off my bucket list. So
Yeah, you just gotta have
yeah.
fun along the way.
Yeah.
Do you have a physical bucket list?
Oh heck yeah.
Let's do this in two parts. What is on your physical bucket list that you have checked off?
That I have. Okay. I went skydiving over the archipelago in Sweden. That
Yes.
was really cool. I did that on The Amazing Race.
Yes.
Competing on The Amazing Race was definitely on my bucket list for years and years. I applied multiple times, and finally doing it was like huge bucket list check.
Yeah.
So skydiving was on the paragliding in Switzerland. I mean, I
Oh, that
got to
was fun.
see crocodiles in Costa Rica. I got to ride horses on the beach in Costa Rica. I mean, the things that I've done, I can't even. I've swam with manta rays in Hawaii. I swam with sharks in Hawaii. I've gone helicopters over the Nepali coast. I almost got arrested in Hawaii. Like,
Oh my god.
there's so many things that I have done, but there's also a ton that I've not done. Like,
Yeah, what is
hiking.
on your list of things you have not done
Yeah,
on your
there's a
bucket
few things
list?
this year that I hope to accomplish. One of them
Ooh,
is hiking Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa. I'll be doing that in
yes.
August. Um,
Yes.
Another one, I've never been to Australia. I'd love to go on like some type of animal sanctuary something and see like koalas and kangaroos and stuff.
That
It's
would be
definitely
cool.
on my, this is the weird bucket list thing, but just somehow has the capacity shoot for Discovery or National Geographic, like shooting animals and like doing stuff with animals. That I think would be my ultimate dream if I could pick one, like being a photographer for them.
Yeah, you're a big animal girly. I'm sure if you pitched to them, they would be open to your
It,
ideas.
it's crazy. I mean, that's the ultimate dream. There's so many opportunities. It's just like for some reason that's the one thing in my life that I'm like scared of pursuing. I think it's because I want it the most, but I
Mm-hmm.
like, also don't believe that it's possible, which is totally backwards thinking. Um,
Yeah. What's just National Geographic? They're just a different client, you know?
exactly. I mean, that's this Discovery, National Geographic to me.
I know.
Oh, also another thing, it still sounds so crazy, but I would love to one day go to space or go on Mars or something. You know, like
Ooh,
my
that would be really
grandmother,
cool.
it's crazy to say, but my grandmother worked for NASA. and I grew up going to visit her and I would go to space
Yeah,
camps.
he's too.
And so I think in my lifetime it will be possible. So just
I
I got a long
definitely
bucket
agree.
list.
Is Antarctica on your bucket list?
Yes.
You're
It's
not
the
a
way
big
that I've
cold
been. And
person.
yeah, no, I hate the cold.
That's
Even
okay.
Iceland, like icing was beautiful, but
Yeah.
girl, I was cold. Like,
I know. I spent like 7 or 8 days in Iceland. The weather was just not my cup of tea.
yeah, I don't want like when it's cloudy or rainy outside, like I think I get depressed.
I agree. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We in the Dolomites, on our retreat. Remember how whenever we would sit down at the table, there was always like half of it was in the shade and the other half was in the sun. And there were those of us that always sat in the sun
Yep.
and the other ones that always wanted to sit in the shade.
Yeah.
We
It's
were
a state of
photosynthesizing.
mind. Yeah. I love it.
So let's talk about The Amazing Race because that's a really big bucket list item. So you were on season 35 of The Amazing Race with your dad. That aired in the fall of 2023. We had such a fun premiere evening in Italy
Trying to figure out VPNs and all.
until 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
What was that experience like looking back?
The memory of it versus what other people see. The memory of it, amazing. We had some of the most pure, funny, like bonding moments that I've ever had with my dad. That never got aired, so no one got to see those moments. But the memory of it, and we wrote originals. That's like how I'm remembering it. I mean, it was amazing. It was getting to see the world and doing what I'm the most passionate about with my best friend in the world was something you can't describe. Going on that show made me realize how easy it was to truly pick up your life and start a completely new life if you wanted to. Like being disconnected from your phone and from the world as we know it. At any given point, you can literally just put everything you're doing, get a new phone number, and leave and thrive. Like it's just so crazy. There's so many things on the different parts of the world that are happening right now that we just aren't paying attention to. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's so interesting how everybody is having a completely different experience than you. Even just being in Baja and then coming across the border, just driving. There's not much physical distance from the other side, but it's a world of difference in the way
Yeah.
that people are. It's
Crazy.
crazy. What did they not show on The Amazing Race that you really wish they would have? Which moments are coming to mind?
I mean, my dad is my best friend. He's the funniest person I know. And he has so many little jokes and crafts, so many little funny sayings that he's known for. And they didn't show any of them. Even our whole cast, even today, they'll be like, we still feel like they gypped Steve and they didn't show all of his funny moments. Because there were so many times that we laughed and we would be crying laughing. But it seemed like they had an agenda for us a little bit. And the times that I was the most stressed, I think that was what they were trying to portray rather than any of the times that we were 12 together. So that's unfortunate, but obviously they're going to get viewings somewhere, and that was the agenda. But Ashley, there was so many funny moments. Like at one point, Dad's passport fell in the Naruto sank in the Pomelos.
Oh, yeah.
Mom, his whole face on his passport melted away, and it looked like a picture of Hello Kitty. We were cracking up at the producers because we were like, "There's no way he's getting into India looking like Hello Kitty," and it was just one of those funny moments. There was another moment when we were like in our wetsuits. I think we were in Sweden, and we were like scraping off barnacles like this. And we kept calling each other Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, and it was so funny. And he was like scraping his barnacles,
Oh,
and we
yeah.
were singing all the single ladies, all the single ladies. And we thought they were gonna show it. We were so excited for that episode, and they completely like eliminated every bit of the funny parts. And we were like, "What the heck? Like, why?" But I mean, it's so cool. I wish I could show you. I'm not gonna be able to show you, but my dad actually made us a little shadow box for my birthday for all our tickets of the Amazing Race and like everything that we kept, like all our flights and stuff. So it's a really cool memorabilia.
Oh, I love that. which city or country would you say was your favorite?
Ooh, easy. Slovenia.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
looks really pretty.
Right after the Dolomites, that's why I made Kristen go back with me, and she ended up
Yeah.
staying a month after. She fell in love with it too. It's just one of
Yeah.
those places, like, it's right between Croatia and Italy, you never really hear about, but gosh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I remember when you said you were gonna go there, I was like, why?
Yeah, yeah,
And now I'm like, oh.
you gotta go.
Aren't
Yeah.
you hosting a bucket list retreat in Slovenia? Did I see that coming up?
We posted about, like, just from our experience there, but we definitely have put out a few feelers of if people would be willing to go or not. Yeah, who knows? We might.
Cool. Let's talk more about bucket list retreats.
Yeah.
What led you to wanting to start your own retreat company in the first place? How did that come about?
So I went on my first retreat as an attendee, and we went to the Virgin Islands, and it was like an aha moment for me. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not crazy for wanting more. Other people are doing it and, like, being creatives or whatever, working in line. And it's okay. I'm not alone. And after that, I was like, you know what? I want to encourage other people because it changed my life. It literally changed my life, meeting other creatives. And so I hosted my first retreat in Greece. And Kristen, my now business partner, she actually paid on that retreat.
Oh,
And
cool.
I got to see how she worked, and, like, we just really hit it off. And I started Bucketlist Retreats on that trip. And then I asked Kristen if she wanted to co-own it with me. And that's kind of where that started. But since then, initially, of course, Time Trip, that's the platform that will allow people to host trips on. But I realized how much money they were taking from planning these trips, that all they're doing is copying and pasting, the exact same trip that they're allowing anybody to host, and it's not unique, So I realized I can plan way cooler trips that have a lot more adventure packed and, like, bucket list experiences,
Oh, yeah.
and it not cost as much for people to go. And so that's where that started. And now we're actually in the works of an app, which would be perfect for you because you're hosting your own retreats.
Yeah.
And it's for people who want to put group trips together. So, like, let's say you want to put a bachelorette trip together. There's an interface for, chat, budgeting, itinerary building, like, everything that you
Wow.
would want, but you have the complete freedom to plan it. So if you want to host, like, there's an interface for the host, and there's also one for people who were joining the trip, and you can fully host your own trips if you wanted to on there, and it's for anybody and everybody. So
That's
I
so
think,
cool.
yeah, we're in the works of it now, trying to iron out all the kinks, but I think it'll be really beneficial because, unlike, these other booking or apps, you can't really have it all there. You don't have the budget, you don't have the ability to, pull things and plan it all. So that's where
That
we're going next.
that is really cool. Wow, that's so creative and that's awesome. I love that
Well,
you
I
guys
mean,
are doing that.
it just goes back to finding what you're having issue with leading trips and stuff. That's what I've had an issue with. And
Yeah.
so we're like, we need to create an app that makes this easy for people to host trips.
That's such a smart way to look at entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I want to have you and Kristen on an episode together to talk more about
Yeah, oh, we would love it.
what has been your favorite part about bucket list retreats so far? You've been doing it for
A year and a half.
a year and a half. What do you love about it the most so far?
The coolest thing I would say is seeing people overcome whatever it is that's holding them back and, like, totally changing their life. And I've seen some people who have never been out of the country leave and totally thrive. And I've also seen people who were stuck in a 9 to 5 now solo traveling in Portugal by themselves as a photographer and creative. Like, seeing people make that switch, it just reassures me that, like, the feeling that I had on my first retreat and that inspiration to do something more with my life and making it happen and being able to see that, like, continuously happen with other people that come, it's the coolest thing. I mean, Yeah, I love seeing that transformation. And even
That's
little things,
beautiful.
like, there's been people when we were in Switzerland and we were jumping off that swing, that huge canyon swing.
Yeah.
It was a huge, huge hurdle for some people, and some people were staying up at the top, crying, and, um, afterwards saying letting go and, like, letting myself jump made me, like, let go of all the other things that I'm holding on to in my life, and it's so cool and
Oh,
inspiring to see people making moves. Like, I love that.
I love that. Sometimes people just need that extra little push in order to do what they want to. They just need a little support from
Exactly,
some
yeah.
strangers on the Dolomites Bucketlist Retreat on the Via Ferrata, where, yeah, we had some girls that were crying, but it was awesome to see everybody finish still
Yeah.
and hopefully be glad that they did that.
Yeah.
Winter, she had never been out of the country before and ended up spending like 2 extra weeks in
I
Italy
know.
on her own after that
It's
trip.
so cool.
So,
It, like, gives people that, like, feeling like I can do this too. It's a cool thing.
yeah. So you clearly just have the type of personality where you just go for all your dreams in life and you think of something that's on your bucket list and you just do it. But what gives you the motivation and the confidence to be a doer instead of just a dreamer in life?
I mean, I consider myself a dabbler. I think our human nature is to be interested in a lot of different things, not just one. I almost envy the people who can find one thing and just love it because I'm so not that way. But
Yeah.
I mean, I know life is so short, and I learned so much from working in the hospital that every single patient that I had basically said, travel now, money comes and goes, just do it. And I've never been let down. Like, when I just do it and, like, go all in, you either find out what you like or what you don't like, but
Mhm.
if you never do it, then you'll never know. And so you're
Yeah.
always left wondering. So my mentality is try it. If you like it, pursue it. And if you don't like it, drop it. And that's okay. So
Yeah. Can always give it a shot. And yeah, I think building a solid place where, you feel like you can go back to can always help. Like you have a very supportive home life, like your husband and
mhm.
your family. So I'm sure that definitely helps you feel like you can chase your dreams because you know you'll be supported no matter what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. And that goes back, I've always been this way. My husband and I, we've been together for 8 years, 8.5 years now. But I remember when I called my mom and told her I was moving to Hawaii, her words were, "What are you gonna do about Koi?" And I said, "Oh, I'm gonna break up with him because he's gonna tell me not to go." And I called him, and he said, "No, that's your dream. I'll be here when you get back."
That's
And
good.
he was. And it was one of those things, like, I set the standard of, I'm a restless soul. I'm going to go up. I'm gotta be free. There's either gonna be trust or there's not. And so we established that trust really early, and things have never changed. So
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for it.
That's good. I mean, I think if a partner isn't going to support your dreams, you probably shouldn't be with them.
Every time I've been to Hawaii before, every boyfriend that I had before, I broke up with him in Hawaii because that was like my place of, I guess, realizing that I'm meant for more, and whoever's gonna stop me, like, no, you're not. And
Yeah.
so every ex-boyfriend that I had, I broke up with them when I moved to Hawaii.
Oh yeah, I got out of relationships and then I would go travel like somewhere crazy after that. Like you'd go on like a 2-month long trip to Europe or like travel all 50 states. Like
Yeah. And at the beginning, seeing all these travel couples, it was discouraging because I was like, maybe I need somebody who wants to see the world too.
mhm.
But and I realized maybe he's chasing his own dreams, and it's okay to not have those perfect couple pictures in the Dolomites. Like, that's just not that's just not who you are. And I realized that instead of, like, wondering if the grass was greener on the other side, like, maybe if I just watered my own grass a little bit more and, like, appreciated my current situation, then things would get better, and they did. I started appreciating
Mhm.
him for who he was without trying to change him to be more like me, and I like it like this. I like to travel and then come home. And
Yeah.
being able to travel with my friends and my people and not feel like I'm having to keep up with a man who doesn't know how to travel, like, I love
Mhm.
that. I'm like, I don't wanna babysit while I'm traveling. Like, I wanna do my
Oh,
thing.
yeah. I get that. Having been on both sides of solo travel and traveling with my partner, it makes being able to any sort of independence really difficult.
Right. Exactly.
Cool. Well, I have some rapid fire questions about your travels because you have been a lot of places.
Yes.
What is the best hike that you have ever been on?
Ooh, Stairway to Heaven in Hawaii. And
Oh,
so sad because they just wore all of the stairs down. So
I heard about that. That's so
I
sad. Can you
know, but
still get up to the view?
I think so. I think because the way I went was the legal way. It's like a 6 or 7 hour hike. If I'm remembering correctly, or 6 to 7 mile hike or something like that. The back way. Definitely takes a lot longer, but you can still get the view. But I mean that those iconic stairs.
Yeah.
It sucks that they're taken down, but I get it. There were so many times people had to get saved, so coolest hike
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
Actually,
That's
no, I'm gonna
expensive.
take that back. The Rhea Stairway to Heaven in Madeira, Portugal.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the best outdoor adventure that you have ever been on?
Ooh, definitely the canyon skiing in Switzerland. Like, it was adrenaline mixed with, like, thrill. I mean, it was just the fullest event. Terrifying. Honestly, Switzerland just, like, topped all of my bucket list
I love
adventures.
Interlaken.
So fun. Yeah, in another
Switzerland is
life,
a
I
place
would
to
be,
go.
like, a caravan instructor in Switzerland.
Hey, maybe you will one day for like 3
Maybe.
months. What is the best hotel you've ever stayed at?
As far as, like, the most unique, I would say there's a Airbnb called Manta House in Bali, and it's
Ooh,
like the roof is shaped like a manta ray. So freaking cool.
wow, that sounds
That's probably
beautiful.
like the coolest, but the nicest I would say is the Ritz-Carlton in Maui.
Oh, wow.
Just beautiful. But I like more about those unique things. So
hmm
I'll say the Manta House in Bali.
That's definitely on my bucket list.
Cool.
What is the best restaurant that you've eaten at?
Ooh. Knox. There's a restaurant called Knox in Singapore, and it's Daddy in the Dark, and all of your waiters are blind, and so you get to experience what life is like to dine in the dark, and you hear all of their stories. Oh my god. I left crying my eyes out because I was
Aw.
so inspired. And all these people, go and they do something with it, and they, like, benefit the world, and it's a really cool experience. If you ever get to do it in your lifetime, you gotta go.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so you like to work out. So what's the best like workout class or like exercise class that you
Oh,
have
girl.
done?
I'm like a hot works girly. There's all these little saunas, and you can go in and do Pilates, yoga, bar, HIIT, um, cycle, row, elliptical, whatever, and it's in 130 degrees, and so you're sweating to death.
Oh,
But
wow.
they're open 24 hours. You can go anywhere that there's a facility. So I love that. But when I'm traveling, I have this app called Wad Timer,
Oh,
and you
nice.
can just set it up anywhere and, like, do your own workout of the day there,
Nice.
wherever you are. So it.
That's
I love
convenient.
it.
Okay, love that.
Yeah.
What is the best travel experience that you've ever had?
I would say when Kristen and we went and backpacked around the Philippines last year, and we went to these little hidden, little teeny tiny islands that no one talks about, like
Oh, the best.
Sikihor, which is like a witch island and stuff like that. We ended up getting tattoos on the side of the road in Chicago.
Cute.
And just her and I, like, getting to explore the world together and go through crazy experiences that I've never had in my life. Like, I would say that.
I love that.
Yeah.
What is the most unique place you've ever been to?
Slovenia, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just unique. Like, there's nowhere like it. It's a thin you down. I love Slovenia.
I definitely need to go.
Yeah.
What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
I would say in Costa Rica, feeding the alligator, not even alligators, it's like
Oh,
these
God.
dinosaur crocodiles. If you can lean over the boat and feed them, oh my gosh. Like, that's probably
crazy.
the scariest thing I've ever done, because alligators in Florida are one thing, but, like, legit dinosaur crocodiles in Costa Rica, whole new ballgame. Like,
I don't even like alligators in Florida.
no, yeah, like, and alligators are small. Crocodile, like, think of
Oh, really?
a real life crocodile. They're huge. They're like the actual dinosaurs.
That's
Like,
terrifying.
yeah, that is probably the most adventurous thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Your favorite place you've ever been, you can give me up to 3, because that's tough.
Switzerland for sure.
Definitely.
Just because of the adventure, like the outdoorsy things is so up my alley. I love Switzerland. Philippines because of the culture. You do a lot of culture mixed
Ooh.
with like new foods and it kind of has everything. There's mountains, there's beaches, there's swimming, there's snorkeling a lot. And then I would say Hawaii because of the opportunity. Like things
Okay.
that happen in Hawaii would never happen in Texas. I think because it's
Oh.
in life and everybody starts to learn who people are and the connections are a lot deeper than they are here. So
Okay. Okay, last question. What is next on your bucket list?
well, I'm going to Belize for the first time, June 1st.
Ooh.
And
Oh yeah, that's for bucket list.
yeah, we have the
Retreats.
Bucketlist Retreat, and we actually have 3 spots. We haven't promoted it like at all, which is somehow on our end. But we're so focused on the app, and it's just
That's fair.
we're trying to think of things ahead that we haven't been doing a job of promoting. But anyways, yeah, we're going to Belize. That's gonna be a fun one. But next on my bucket list is I'm doing rim to rim to rim on the Grand Canyon.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Are you running?
No, we're not gonna run.
Okay.
We might run some of it, but I'm doing it with one of my friends that I went to undergrad with, and we're gonna try to knock it out in 2 days.
Okay.
So it's next on the bucket list.
Well, that's exciting. I cannot wait to keep up with you. Where can everybody stay in touch?
Of course, yeah. If y'all want to see what adventures I'm going on next, you can follow me on Instagram at the Bucketlist Vagabond. I also have a little podcast called Beyond the Bucket List, and I would really keep up with that. That well, when trying to get better at it.
That's okay. You post when you have something to say, that's for sure. It's always quality when it comes out.
Yeah, it's kind of just like a place where I can talk and not really have expectations with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Bucketlist Retreats on Instagram. That's where we're sharing all of our upcoming trips. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for sitting down with me today. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. So fun being on, and hopefully I get to interview you soon.
Ooh, that would be fun. Thanks so much.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.
That is all I have for you today. I hope you gained some courage or confidence or learned something new today. If you liked this episode, be sure to rate it 5 stars or leave a review. It would really help me out. And make sure you follow the show at the Open Road Podcast so you never miss an episode. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Instagram, all at the Open Road Podcast. Lastly, don't forget to make every moment of this beautiful life count. See you Thursday.